So we're halfway through January, and you decided that you wanted to give the gym a go. So then you pick the nearest gym, and you think, okay, I'm just gonna give it a try and see what happens. I'm gonna start with 5 days a week. And you go the first week, and you hit all 5 days. You're super motivated. You say, yeah, I'm doing great. And then you go the second week, and for whatever reason, maybe you can't go a day, and you miss a day. Third week, you go 3 days, and then the other days you have stuff with your family and stuff like that, so you kind of forget about it. And then now, all of a sudden, by the fourth week, it's like the goals you have set out for yourself are kind of falling apart. Okay, this is usually what happens to most people who try to start the gym in the New Year's. It's kind of a stereotype for people who already go to the gym to kind of try to go to the gym during the low times to avoid these people because we know they're going to fall off after a little while, right? And that's a common occurrence. This happens every year. Now, what can you do so that that's not you? I think generally, in order to understand why this happens to people, you have to understand a key difference between motivation and willpower, right? Now, when I want to do something that is inherently a positive experience for me, then I'm generally very motivated to do it. That's what motivation is. It's almost like it comes from you. You don't have to force yourself to do something, as opposed to willpower, which is an energy resource that you have to do things that you don't want to do, right? And the problem is when you try to do things that you're not accustomed to, by default, it requires willpower because you don't have the experience or positive experience in your memory to allow yourself to be motivated by that thing. It's only after you see the benefits that you actually get the motivation. The problem is with things like the gym that it's almost like a delayed gratification sort of activity. You won't see the benefits till way later. My recommendation is that if you are trying to stick to the gym and you're kind of new at it, then you should probably start slow. Don't make a schedule where you're forced to go 5 days a week because even if you fulfill the 5 days a week that first week, by the second week, you're not going to see the benefits of that first week. So you're still not going to be getting that positive reinforcement enough for you to get motivated to go 5 days a week the second week, right? It's only after you see the results, which usually comes months later, that you actually see the result. Now, for me, the gym was kind of organic evolution of my lifestyle because when I was younger, about 7 years old or whatever, I began practicing martial arts. Now, martial arts is all about discipline and training, and through my growth, as I developed into a man in high school, I joined the wrestling team. Now, martial arts and wrestling are very much aligned and they're all about training. Like practices in wrestling are notoriously hard. So by comparison, the gym is actually an easier activity than wrestling. So it didn't require a lot of willpower for me to start working out because it was already in the vein of what I was doing. Now, my recommendation is, for example, for people who like love to play video games or whatever, right? Try to find a way to mix the video games and working out, as crazy as that sounds. And I'm going to show you a couple techniques that actually me and my best friend from high school we used to do with fighting games. Like we used to play fighting games, and if anybody's played fighting games before, they're based on rounds, right? So every time we would lose a round, it would come with a sort of penalty. So like let's say if we lost all 3 rounds, then we would attach, for example, 20 push-ups for each round, which would make it 60, right? 20, 40, 60. And then let's say even if we won the match and we lost one round, then we would have to do 20 push-ups, right? So then by playing this game within a game, we inevitably were working out and playing video games at the same time. And actually, I'm going to show you another technique is another thing that you need to take account of is something called friction. So friction is how hard it is to begin an activity. So for example, right? Going to the gym is actually a high friction activity because you got to think like you've been through your whole day, you get home, already your willpower is exhausted from the day, and now you have to pick yourself back up, provide willpower to not only get dressed for the gym, pick up your gym equipment, go to the gym in your car, go through traffic, and then once you get there, if you have no training working out, well, guess what? Now you have to learn a whole new activity. And then not only that, a lot of people nowadays, especially in the younger generation, have a lot of like social anxiety. So being in an environment where you're not comfortable, you're not confident, and you're surrounded by people who potentially know more than you about that activity could be an anxiety inducing action. So all of that is friction for you to actually go to the gym. So my recommendation is still get that gym membership, but you need to supplement that with stuff at home for when your willpower is exhausted, then you can add those activities. And then I have certain things that you could buy to help you with that, right? So for example, I got this yoga mat, right? The good thing about this is you could keep it in your living room and put it on the floor and actually do push-ups on it. You could do it on the floor if you want, but of course over time it's gonna wear on your joints. And me actually going to the gym for like longer than a decade, I could attest to this. You don't want to wear out your joints when you're young because you're gonna need them when you're in your 30s, right? So like do push-ups on a yoga mat, just don't do them on the floor. Also, you can buy one of these. So this is an adjustable dumbbell, right? So I have it set up for me. So I have it almost to the max weight. Like you could do a lot of stuff with this. You could do bicep curls. You could do like even like tricep stuff, you know. And you can even lay on the ground and press them, right? So it has a lot of variability. So what you can do, it's very versatile. And then check this out. And they come with separate plates like these, right? Because they're adjustable, you can use them for any exercise, and they come in duals. So you can actually maximize the weight on one or split the weight in twos. Now, another high friction thing about starting the gym is probably you don't have a lot of knowledge, right? Now, the thing about that is there's a lot of information online. Now, when I started in the gym, there wasn't a lot of information. Like when I started, it was about 2007 or 2006. That actually worked to my benefit because I think a lot of the problem with people that want to start the gym now is like there's a paralysis by analysis going on because there's so much information out there. It's almost like you don't know what program to start and you don't know like for example how many reps, how many sets, or even like what exercises to pick, right? Now, I could tell you right now, when I started, my program was probably like complete like bullshit, like not even joking, because there was no information. We were literally working out kind of randomly. Like we were benching, we were doing pull ups, we were like going to the apartment gym and just like doing reps without really having like reps and sets in mind, right? And let me tell you, I got in great shape. Like that didn't prevent me from actually looking really great for my age. This is what I looked like when I was 16 years old, right? Now, a lot of people who might see this image might say, "Oh, well, honestly, like that's not impressive. Like I see online fitness influencers or whatever friggin' looking better at 16 than you did." Okay, cool. But remember, this is friggin' 2007. I had like no information. I literally did this just doing push-ups and sit-ups while I was playing video games. So what I would say is don't get paralyzed by the amount of information. What you need to do is just get started. I would rather you not even have a dedicated program and just get a yoga mat and some adjustable weights. Start doing push-ups in your room. Start doing pull-ups whenever you can. And then like as you get better, you can add more advanced techniques, more structure to your programs, etc. Because the problem is like a lot of these programs that are super hyper advanced and complex, the reason they make them so complex is because they want you to feel like you need to actually buy those programs from those influencers, right? But literally, like if you're a teenager, you don't need to be that structured with your program. You're literally in puberty and a beginner. Like you're gonna grow, not necessarily based on what program you pick. You just need to go to the gym and actually start doing the work. Now, if you are a video game nerd, right? I spoke about the techniques me and my friend use about fighting games and stuff like that. You can do that with your favorite game. I know like nowadays games have like hella cutscenes. Like they trying to damn near turn games into movies, right? So you could do like a stipulation where like let's just say you're playing a game and a cutscene cuts on, then you grab your adjustable dumbbell and you do a couple reps while the cutscene's playing. That's not really gonna mess you up during the game, and you can actually get a lot of work done that way. Or let's say you're playing a fight game, like we said, and you lose a match. There could be a stipulation. If you lose a match, 30 push-ups. If you lose 2 rounds, 20 push-ups. Stuff like that. Just be creative with how you get your work done, and you could actually get in shape, like no matter what your hobbies are, or even if you have any experience working out. And actually, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you actually an example. Let me go to my setup, and I'm gonna show you how that works.